So on his own, we had an individual going to Uganda, adopting an orphanage, and finding this young man, Adolf, in need, and bringing him here to get treatment for his burns so that he could walk again. So that, that's exceptionally above, service above self, as we say, which is the Rotary motto.
It's my very great honor to introduce a hero in our club. In fact, a hero from a whole family of heroes. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming our friend, speaker, hero, and an angel among us, Laine Wagenseller.
Hello. So today I want to tell you the story of Adolf Baguma. And it's a story of Adolf's challenges and his triumphs. But it's really more. It's a story about service above self, which is our ideal for Rotary. And it really is a Rotary story as well. About 4 years ago, I was minding my own business when my friends Will and Sandy Bredberg came to me, and Will's over here, and they said, Laine, do you want to come over to our house on Sunday and hear about a trip we take to Uganda? And the idea was, we can't change the world, but maybe over the course of a lifetime, we can focus on one village and one orphanage. And maybe in the end, we can change the world. It has been just the most fulfilling thing that I've ever done in my life. And so this year, when I was in Uganda, I met a new boy at the orphanage. His name is Adolf. And when he was younger, he was living with a young aunt of his who, one day when he was reaching for food, she threw scalding hot banana leaves and water on him and burned his legs. And his legs healed together so that they couldn't straighten. They were fused together. And this is how I first met Adolf, walking him to school on all fours down a dirt path. And one thing I like to do when I come back from my trip is to post some photos on Facebook and tell the stories. And one of the photos that I put on there was this photo, the one before, of Adolf, and talked about his story a little. And not too long after that, the phone rang. And it was my friend Susan Griego, who's one of our LA5 Rotarians. And Susan said, Laine, on Monday night I'm having drinks with my good friend Carol Horvitz, and she's the executive director of the Children's Burn Foundation. Can I tell her about Adolf? And I said yes. And I got together some photos and a little description and forwarded on. Carol said yes right away. She said, we can help this boy. And she put me in touch with her chief of operations at the foundation, Tanya Sorkin. And Tanya and I worked for a number of months getting all the information together, getting photos of the burns so we could share them with the surgeons, working on, well, she worked on how much this is going to cost, who's going to do this, passports, visas, how do we get him over here. And she put together a whole packet that they would submit to the foundation's committee, who would review this and say yay or nay on helping Adolf out. And who was on that committee? Our own Bill Barrett, another LA5 member.
Bravo, Bill.
And Bill selflessly spends his time going through these applications of child burn victims and figuring out how the Children's Burn Foundation can help them out. So then our next thing was Dr. Grossman at the Grossman Burn Center. And he said, yes, I'll do the surgery. So all the pieces were coming together, but we had one left. And that was, where's Adolf going to stay while he's here? And who's going to take care of him? And the foundation had dealt with some orphanages here before in the past. But I said, wait a second, I have an idea. So I have this brother, Scott. Scott and Ashley live in Thousand Oaks, and they have 4 little children, at this time, all under 5 years of age. And so one day, when I was at the beach with them and Ashley, and it was a quiet day, no one was having a temper tantrum, no one was screaming, no one was throwing up, I told Ashley the story of Adolf and said, hey, you know, I'm looking for a family who can take him in for 6 to 9 months, probably 3 surgeries, physical rehabilitation, and you know, want to see if you guys will do it. And I said, Ashley, you have a 5-year-old, you have a 4-year-old, you have a 2-year-old, you have a 1-year-old. What the heck, let's just add one more 11-year-old Ugandan who can't speak English or walk. And you know what? She said yes. And Scott said yes too.
It's so impressive to see Laine, who is our International Service Board member, take on this project totally on his own. It really just showcases what type of members that we have here in LA5. You know, our motto is service above self. And this has nothing to do with our Rotary project. This is something that Laine wanted to do to help someone in need. And so it's important for our club to be able to share that. And we're so proud of them.
I think this is the essence of what Rotary is all about, the service projects, international as well as local, standing demonstration of exactly what Rotarians are doing around the world.
We took in Adolf and Eva at our home with our 4 children, and it's been an incredible experience. Continue the tenets of the Rotary, service beyond self.
I am pleased to present you with a presidential citation in recognition of your significant accomplishments in service. The 2012 President's Citation awarded to Laine Wagenseller in recognition of meritorious service in furthering the principles and ideals of the Rotary way of life. Thank you, and God bless you.
It was a whole family tradition of service, and it was a whole Rotary tradition of service that led to my meeting Adolf and bringing him here to get the surgery he needs so he can walk again.